All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Start with approval of the agenda as posted. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda as posted? Okay, I'll take Nancy's as a second. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda as posted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay, so we'll look to approval of the June 1, 2026 planning minutes, which were posted. If anybody has any edits or changes, I'll suggest them now. Otherwise, take a motion for approval of the minutes as posted.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, take a motion from C again. I'll take the second from Mike to balance the room. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now we'll go to item 2A, public comment. This will be the time for public comment. If you have a comment on something that you think the planning committee should know about that is not on the agenda, now would be the time to come forward and you can speak. If not, if you're here for an agenda item, you'll get a chance when that agenda item is up. Does anybody have public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and we'll go to 3A, old business, final plat of lot 14R, Weston Heights. Nobody's coming up. Is anybody here to speak to this item today? This Weston Heights, 3A on the old business. So this is the Western Heights lot where they're just doing the combine. Is that what we got here?
Combination of combining the two lots into one residential lot. There's been no changes from the preliminary plat. It meets all the requirements.
Usually I like to have somebody here, but in the final and how simple this is, I'll get a real issue with it. Is there anybody here to speak to this plat today? Seeing none, close public comment.
Nobody being here?
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the, basically, I'm combining the two lots into one in Western Heights. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll go to the next agenda item. Final plats lots 1 through 4, block 6, and lots 1 through 8, block 7, Elk Creek Road. There is somebody here for this one. So. Freitag, how are you? Mic turned on and then, okay.
All the infrastructure is in the water. Roads are built to standard. 144th was also improved. Wide road standard. Water lines are all built. Penny Lane is built to with the turnaround at the with the cul-de-sac at the end. Road was dedicated an additional 27 foot. In the submittals, the water system checklist was completed by Renner and Associates. Everything was great, meets ordinance.
The ditches are seeded. The roads are built. Well, no, all the water lines are in. Our hydrants, everything is in.
Corey Eastman worked with Rapid Construction to build the roads compliantly and has inspected them also.
Okay.
South Dakota DNR signed off on the water.
On the design?
design standard, yep. We got
And the wells in place and any treatment that you need.
Well, and storage, water storage.
This plat will go to the county commissioners due to the number of lots. There's more than 8 lots, so we'll have a resolution sent in front of the county commissioners.
Any questions for Mr. Freitag or staff?
All the density requirements have been met in accordance with county ordinances.
Yes.
Is there anybody else here today to speak to this plat? Any questions? Anybody wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve final plats for lots 1 through 4, Block 6, lots 1 through 6 of Block 7 in Elk Creek, 144th Avenue and Penny Lane right-of-ways within Horizon Estates 320, based on the findings of this report with existing conditions of approval to be met by staff recommendations. Second.
So, motion has been made and seconded for approval of final plats, lots 1 through 4, Block 6, and lots 1 through 8, Block 7. Any discussions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Pass unanimously. Thanks for coming in today, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Okay, we'll move to variances, Board of Adjustments.
I'll make a motion to enter Board of Adjustments.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to enter into the Board of Adjustments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. For the audience's understanding, we have 2 separate sections of variances. One, we enter as a Board of Adjustments, or variances that we have to pass out of here, and we're the final word on by a 2/3. Variances under number 5 are variances then that the commission go to the commission for final decision. So we'll start with Board of Adjustment variances under 4, variance request ordinance 20, lots 12R2 of Block 5, Northdale subdivision. Anybody here to speak to this today? Anybody here to speak on behalf of this? Is this the Long Branch one?
Yes, this is Long Branch.
Did you talk to this Kale coming? He was here last time.
They submitted everything. They knew when the date was. I suggested it gets August meeting, gets moved to August's meeting. They need to present their 8-foot.
Yeah,
They
this is a
wanted to
bit,
use
this
that.
is fairly complicated because there's a number of them on the other one. So why don't we do this?
Call them and see if you can come, or
Well, yeah, or what I would suggest is rather than move it now is that we skip it and see if anybody shows for it when we get to the bottom of the variances. Because, maybe they're just running late or traffic got them or something like that. All right, so we're going to hold that one. And does anybody have an objection to just leaving that till we get to the bottom of the variances?
No.
They show.
No.
So we'll go to 4C, variance request, preliminary plat, lot 16R, block 5. That same one? All right, then we'll put that one after the bottom. Preliminary plats, lots 1 and 2 of Hutskin subdivision. I don't know if I said that right. Hutkins?
Okay, yep. Okay. I'm good. Shannon Boston's baseline surveying. Let me see. So this variance, ordinance 20, article 6, at 13-1, for the preliminary plat that you'll be seeing coming up. sorry, I get a little confused between all these, but I think there's about 3 of them, but, so this one is actually for consideration of the private access easement that we placed on these 2 lots, so, just a little background, Mrs. Huckins she's in the audience with us today too, so if we got any questions for her. There's a total of, 120 acres in this parcel. She is looking to, there's 2 existing homes within the parcel. Both parcels are served by Butte Meade water. Both parcels have been in existence for quite some time now. So we're basically just cleaning these up, platting them on 3-acre lots so they each have their own lot. Then her plan would be to sell the remaining acreage. So that's the reason for the platting. So she can just clean up and keep what she needs because she lives in one of these homes. So this variance for consideration is for the actual width of the drive within the private access easement. So they do have a 14-foot, and then it does widen out when it goes to the house to the south to that 16, 18-foot range. So that's what this variance is for.
So she wants to keep the 2 3 acres, and it's 120 acres altogether, so that's 114 acres left, and she's going to sell it. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing, just throwing it out here, that the seller is probably going to sell it to buyers who may want to put more houses and stuff out there. Do we have any idea what indication might happen if we approve this, that this is not going to turn into these 2 3 acres that we just approved? It's just going to be the start point of building all the way back out through there?
Well, I do know this potential buyer is a rancher, so his intention is for livestock use, but he could always sell it.
Exactly. So how do we know that if we approve this, that we're not just going to be looking at a problem further down the road when they solve a couple more 3 acres here, a couple more 9 acres here, and by the way, they all got to go by that exact same private road right now that obviously the density requirements are going to...
Yep. No, and unfortunately, I don't think any of us have that control, you know. The other 100, the remaining property, won't be using this private access easement. So to access their property, they get another approach permit from the DOT. So for the remaining acreage.
Okay, and do we know for a fact that there will be other accessible points onto the land that she plans to sell for other people if they decide to develop and build on it? Or are we going to run into a situation where it's like, well, the only way you could have done it is if you were on that private access road that was decided here and now?
Yes, yeah. That new buyer has contacted the DOT for an actual location. I haven't seen an actual approved permit process through there, but the buyer is well aware that he's not going to access through these parcels to get to his land. So, and like you said, we don't want future. If his intention was to create more lots, we're not going to throw the traffic right in between all these 2 homes that have.
Well, that may be our intention, but we just don't know how it's playing out just yet.
Yep.
I'm afraid if we approve this, and all we're going to do is just delay the inevitable, and we've had this happen before. I'll turn it over to somebody else because I'm getting dry in my throat.
Nope, I'm going to have to call Miss Hawkins up.
It is. I just need to sit up.
Hold the mic.
Did you hear your question?
No, I couldn't hear very good. My hearing was not good at all.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, not that it should have a big basis, but is the potential buyer of the other 110 plus acres a neighboring ranch that's touching that acreage, or is it somebody totally outside your neighborhood?
The 120 acres belongs to me.
Right.
Okay. I have, my daughter-in-law lives in the trailer. I live in the house.
Okay.
She's going to be moving. I plan on just keeping all that frontage there. The gentleman come up offered to buy the remaining acreage, which is 110.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no plans to put anything else on there except for his home. He wants to put a modular home out there. That's
Okay, so he's not one of your current neighbors.
no,
Okay, that was my question.
no, he's not. I lost my husband 2 years ago, and I don't have any way to take care of that land myself. That's why I wanted to sell it to him, because he'll take care of it and he'll do what done there.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the maps here, and I obviously see South Dakota Highway 79 and all that, and very little roadways going off of that anywhere around the property itself. So if he got 110 acres, how is he planning to access that land, ma'am?
He wants to build an approach.
Do you know from where?
Off Highway 79 down in the southwest corner.
Southwest corner?
Yep.
I don't know my directions.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I would suggest that, and that's not on the plat yet, right? We're only looking at the preliminary plat.
The remainder of this is staying a remainder ag property. We are not platting the 110. So if somebody had intentions of coming back to plat in 110, they still have to come in front of this board. We're not approving a 110 acre
We're just
lot
looking
plat.
at,
Yep.
yeah, the 6 acres.
Yeah. So the question on, if they want a building permit on that government lot, which is 25 acres, .487, we'd require him to plat that, right, to get a building permit, because it's less than 40?
On the government lot, yes, but it was on the quarter more.
Right, if he is on the back 80,
Back 80.
he
then
could do that
build it.
because the legal description there is both those legals are 40, or you could, if it's an 80. But on the government lot, for the building permit, you'd need to get you'd need to get a permit, and you'd have to plat. So,
Well, maybe you could just clarify for me, it currently has a 40-foot private access easement, but this would trigger a 66-foot required, and they're trying to get a variance from that. Do I have that right?
Right, so our ordinance requires a 66-foot private access easement. They're requesting a 40-foot.
yeah.
It currently has a 40, or they're requesting a 40?
They're requesting a 40.
Because it's not platted, there is no require, this would have to show the access easement has to show on the plat for them to get this subdivision, the plat's done.
Sure.
And so generally it's 66, because it's kind of a catch-all, because you could have 4 houses on it, or, and you don't know what the terrain's like, or it could be a brand-new road. So
Understood. My question, I guess, is, I mean, we're not actually requiring them to build that out to that spec, but the access easement itself could go to 66 feet without having any visual or impact or requirement to build, correct? Or is there a problem with actually requiring the easement per code?
So the easement, the driving surface has a variance also. That's the one that's under planning boards, because they require a 28-foot wide, and they have asked for a variance to an 14 to 18, which the ordinance allows.
yeah,
The narrow road used for low traffic, then we can allow those.
Understood. So, but by requiring the 66-foot wide, we're not actually imposing any kind of hardship on the applicant. It just is a request.
That was the request, is to have a 40.
Okay.
the yeah, so the surface, there is a request for a variance on the surface, but that's under the other said variances, because that has all the stuff that has the actual building stuff. The commission makes the final call.
Right.
This is on the platting.
And we have this again in the preliminary plat, right?
Well, this is the preliminary plat.
No, these are the variances.
Right, yeah,
we're
the
gonna
preliminary
have.
plat's down here, but they've got to get the variances to get the preliminary plat through.
Right.
Right.
So my next question is kind of going back to the preliminary plat that we're going to see later. Have all the water requirements been met on this one? The well and
I think both these houses are they in Butte Meade? Both of these houses
oh, that's right.
already?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
You have 2 hookups with Butte
Yes.
Meade, 1 for each house?
Yes.
Sorry, I did know that.
And you can see there's an easement that comes up from the northeast corner to coming in there. And then from her house, there's an easement from there to the other home where the existing water lines are. So,
Yeah, so the water system's approved the two houses already,
yep.
because they're already existing, already using.
So I guess I'll just make a quick statement. So really when I look at these 40 versus 66, I normally wouldn't even ask because the 66-foot private access road would allow up to four lots. So when we get in these situations where there's houses close together, lots of buildings, and I can really see, I mean, where could we take that private access easement and make it 2 additional lots, especially when that's not the intent, because I was told that she didn't want any other traffic going through just to keep her privacy and everything. So that's usually where I come from when I think it's worth asking for a 40-foot wide variance. Because really, if they wanted to do anything in the future, they have to come back and replat that to a 66, if they wanted to create more density. So.
I guess I would agree based on the fact that everything is existing. If it's not, sometimes those easements then can allow for, actual placements of utilities and other things that just land where they land. And, having that wider easement is nicer for that, but everything is existing in this application.
So there's, found, and Christian, I do look at these a little bit different, almost just more of a shared driveway kind of look on these. The one thing, if the board is, if somebody is going to make this motion, one thing I think you should make clear is that you can't further subdivide or add AUDs, because all of a sudden then you could get essentially four residences there if they added AUDs on those 2 lots. And that doesn't, those restrictions, because then you're going to want, if you're going to start adding those kind of living areas, then I think you're kind of defeating the purpose of getting the variance. Let me ask quick, is there anybody else here to speak to this variance? Okay, so other questions from the board for the proponents?
Well, I had trouble trying to follow what the staff's recommendation was. Basically, the staff has not given us findings, but not a recommendation. Well.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, Mike.
Oh, joy.
No, these are historical. We've been granting these usually with some type of condition on the plat. No further subdivision. If you do, the roads need to be brought up to standard. It was a pretty water system there. The only way they could go is down in size. Water would have to be provided. You're talking a different whole set of rules. I agree with Mr. Resorick on no further subdivision and no ADUs. I didn't think of the ADU thing. Point to make that you're basically adding 2 additional residential lots to.
Yeah, so you're going to get to 4.
You're going to get to 4 anyways.
And you should have a wider.
The remainder of government lot 4, the DOT, to my knowledge, requires 1,000 lineal foot separation between approaches, and there's enough room to allow another approach down to the southwest. In our ordinance, we could require that she signs. There will be no further subdivision for the next year. We have that mechanism, that agreement, that she could sign that. If there is any more further subdivision, then a master plan has to be brought in front of you guys.
Is that copacetic with you, ma'am?
What's that?
Is that copacetic?
Yeah, that agreement for no further subdivision is going to have to apply to government lot then too, because that's where you're carving this out of. You got to include the larger parcel, and that way, if somebody does buy it and they think they're going to chop it up, or they have to bring a master plan.
Is the reason to limit the accessory dwelling unit capability because of the increased traffic? Or what would be the reason that we would?
Well, my thought is you would limit that because that's essentially, could add 2 exterior living buildings. And yet one of the pitches you're making to get the lowered variances, there's only 2 houses, all of a sudden you could have 2 other living in that. Then if that's the route you want to go, then you shouldn't get the variance.
It feels like we're mixing 2 issues together, and one of which really wasn't mentioned by the applicant as a possibility.
She's not going to have control over the second lot if she's selling it.
Right.
So that ADU coming in could be, she would have no knowledge at this point.
Yeah.
So I agree with Talbot. I think putting that restriction on the ADU is a good idea, because we've had a few of those.
Yeah. Yeah, and to me, if you got 2 houses going to 40 is fine, but if you're essentially going to 4, then I'm probably more to the 60. And so all you're doing is just saying, no further subdividing, and that includes that you can't add these other houses that our ordinance allows, these living units.
Which I guess brings it back to the applicant then. If you chose to have a 66-foot wide, like code requires, then these accessory dwelling units probably would be on the table, I'm assuming, by the rest of the board. So, but if that's her choice, then that's what she's choosing.
Well, I thought about that too when we were discussing, and but actually we have 2 variants because we're with the road widths also.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
so I think we're going to run into the same thing.
An issue there too. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not them, but
yeah, if you start adding that extra living area, you're going to want a wider surface because you're more likely to have cars coming and going at the same time. And those are, like I said, as a chair, I don't make motions. I occasionally make suggestions. But.
All right. This is our variance, right? We're not recommending.
This is with the variance that has to pass through this, and with the final say on it.
Hold on, let me get back to the right spot. So I make a motion to approve the variance, that making the easement 40 feet instead of 66, providing there's no further subdivision and no ADUs. Was there a third thing?
I'll second that.
Those 2 restrictions. Okay. And we moved and seconded to grant the variance with the restrictions of no further subdivision of the resulting 2 lots and no ADUs being built on the lots.
Well, for discussion or for clarification, you had mentioned because of the government lot, and she's going to take these 2 lots and she'll still have the remainder.
Right.
So does our approval of no further subdivision ADUs apply to essentially all 3 lots?
No, because it's not a lot. It's the larger parcel, but we require as a larger parcel you can't further subdivide it for a year. That's our standard, right? Without providing a master plan.
Okay, so this motion covers all that.
I think so. Tanya? Okay.
Okay, that's all I had.
Yeah, because it's our standard requirement that you can't take a larger parcel and do piecemeal out of it without, you got to wait a year then to go do another lot out of it.
Okay.
Without a master plan for developing the entire parcel. Okay. Discussion on the motion, other discussion or questions?
I second.
Yeah,
Christian.
I'm
Christian
sorry.
seconded.
Sorry.
That's all right. You're looking for somebody on this side, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Sorry, Christian.
Any other discussion or questions raised by that? Hearing none, all those in favor of the variance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed unanimously. We'll go to plat, variance request for plats, lot 8A and 8B of Eden Garden. Here's much more difficult than this one.
So just so you know, these variances are grouped together, so I'll need 3 motions. So instead of doing individual variances to 20, I did.
Okay. So there's 3 requested variance setback from right of way width, and private access easement. Shannon.
It is. Shannon Boston, Spaceline Surveying again. So these 3 variances obviously are for the plat coming up. We have 2 existing homes on this property also. So we are just looking at cleaning up. Again, I put a 40-foot through there. There's a lot of stuff going on within that area. So you can see there's water lines. Bear Butte Valley Water is in existence and hooked to both homes currently. There is an existing well, but it's just used for livestock within the property. We do have, so I just wanted to give you a little background on that. For these, that's the reason for these variances. We do have the home to the south, just sits close to Eden Valley Road, where it is built back in the day. So we do have a setback. We're looking at dedicating another 7 foot of right-of-way on Eden Valley, so it just puts that home. It's still on this property, but it just doesn't meet the 25-foot setback requirement. Right-of-way width is 120. Working with staff, I think we're all come to an agreement that can be 100 or 80. An 80-foot right-of-way. There's a plat just to the adjoining plat just to the west of this. That was not that long ago, and it just shows the history through there over the last few platting areas that it's an 80-foot right-of-way. So, but we are applying for that variance. And again, the additional right-of-way would probably put the house in encroachment, but just to point out, private access easement again. That's where I was pointing out earlier, going to a 40-foot instead of a 66. So it's basically a shared driveway for the 2 homes. So with no intention of going anywhere further throughout the property for platting. So.
Okay. Questions?
1.6 foot setback. No way to get around making it from 25 feet down to the size of a sandwich. A foot long.
Yep. That's the existing home. I don't know when it was built. It's been there for quite some time. So, stick-built home.
It was built in 1962.
So.
Do we have to worry about the house having structural problems, falling on the other house, causing damage? You know, something prudential commercials usually talk about, bark park stuff.
No, I mean the homes are separate, but falling into the street right away. But I think it's in great shape. The owner's also with us today, so we can, if we need to have any questions for him.
Did Tanya get a chance to go out and look at this, or are you going off the diagrams and Shannon's
No,
work?
I went out and looked at it.
We'll talk later then.
It encroached in the last plat that was approved a couple of years ago. It's a house that's just built too close to an old county road that was built before any ordinances were in place. The 80-foot right-of-way is up and down Eden Road. The plats north and south, or east and west of that, show an 80-foot. Spoke with Mr. Eastman, highway superintendent. He was fine with the 80. Everything has been dedicated to that. Can't really dedicate any more, otherwise we're going to take in the house. That road's in good shape. I did have Shannon go shoot or surveyed everything in for me on this one to know where we were sitting. Septics, roads, water. Septic lines are a little different than what I'm used to. We did reserve on lot 8A an area for a future drain field if one does fail. I thought that was pertinent to do that since the drain field does cross into lot 8B right now.
Where's the drain field for?
8A is the septic lid is the house that crosses underneath the water line in the road, and it comes out L43.
And then A is just directly above it.
Other questions for Shannon? Is there anybody else here to speak to this variance today?
And on one hand, we do have 2 residences on 1 lot, so we are cleaning that part up. So, but that means anything. So,
You're trying, aren't you, Shannon?
so.
This whole valley has been kind of a challenge because of the road. I think we had something similar a few years back with Skinner's down there that when they were trying to replat and do stuff too. That road was a bit of an issue.
Oh, I know, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some wiggle room, but I mean, this is like cutting it down to the bone. And that's, you know, from an engineering standpoint, you know, with the easements and everything else and whatever you need extra space for, are they able to make sure that it's engineered in a way and designed in a way that there's not going to be a neighbor pointing a finger at the other neighbor because your place is too close to mine. This is what caused all those problems, and the county let it happen.
Right. I mean, if there's something we could do today to make that better, but being pre-existing, I don't know what we can. The only thing we're making it better is by not dedicating the required right-of-way in order to put these 2 homes on their own lots. So that's where we're kind of stuck. I mean, if this was a proposed home, it can be easily adjusted, but.
Did you say it's already encroaching into the county right away? By how far?
Well,
7.6 already encroaches.
I'm sorry, what was it?
7.6. It's already
That's only-
7.6 feet off the road right away currently.
oh, what?
7.
With the, from this 8. We're giving up 7. So it's like 8.5 feet, so.
From the existing right away.
Yep. So we're dedicating 7 more feet per this plat to give to Eden Valley Road, so that's what cuts us down to the 1.5
feet. Build any stairs.
Move the road, move the house, or do a variance.
That's where I was at. Or you don't dedicate additional right of way until the road gets rebuilt, and then the dedication at a later time.
Right.
Yeah, well, how are you going to do
Yeah.
You don't, so.
that? Okay, additional questions? Staff or for Shannon? All right. So, there's 3 variances here. Any other questions on the variances?
Staff, you really think that we're kind of like in between a rock and a hard place when it comes to this? It's a variance, whether or not it's approved, because there's really nothing we can do or can be done by either the owners or by the road people to make the situation any more copacetic to county ordinances. I know it's not their fault, and I know we have to deal with it. The question is that can we deal with this in a way that we did the best we can with what we have to work with, and basically there's no wiggle room with this.
Is that a question for staff or what?
Yeah, is she cool with it?
Like Jeopardy.
Well, since the master transportation plan, I mean, they have required right-of-ways as we keep moving forward with progress. This is an area that I haven't seen much development in at all. The road is currently at least 24 to 26 foot wide. It's a good road. It has road ditches. It's well maintained. There's a lot of ag land still out there. I know that can change at any time. But prior plats have been allowing this be an 80 foot. I understand the house will only be 1.6, but I don't know what you do with something that was built to that standard with no requirements in 1962.
Well, we all know that there's going to be more and more development. I mean, I see this Eden Road thing almost all over the agenda today, and I just drive down Elk Creek. Every time I turn around, there's those little utility flags all over the place. The bigger question is that by approving this variance, are we causing any problems that we're going to have to deal with down the road that people are going to say, if you would not have approved that variance, it would not have come to this problem, particularly when they start doing more development?
Well, there's 3 variances, remember, here, so we're kind of...
You can pick one.
Well, that's I'm just saying, we're talking about primarily the setback of the dedication and setback. There's kind of 2 of them, and then they've got the 40-foot issue there. Sir, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
You figured you must have something to say since you came up.
Just that I am the property owner, and I've lived there since 1990. I wish that house on 8A would have been built further from the county road, but it was built, like she said, in 1962, and the back house was built like in 1920. We own all of that, and our thought is to sell that front lot to a daughter and her husband as their primary residence. I know that the 80-foot thing was approved for the neighbors just to the west of us. So I wish it was different, but this is what we have to work with, so we thought to start here.
And this may be difficult to answer, but in 1962, was the house built to encroach on that right-of-way, or was there no actual right-of-way?
So it doesn't encroach now.
That's not what I heard.
No, it encroaches into the setback.
Into the setback.
Into the setback.
Right of way.
But into the setback, I mean, was it built encroaching into the setback, or was there...
I guess in 62 there probably wasn't an ordinance that set any setbacks. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in 1990 there might not have even. So, sir, you also asked for this 40-foot. You heard the conditions. The previous variance would be that your lot could not be further subdivided. You're comfortable with that? I mean, you're going to have 10 acres. That means it's 10 acres forever. You're not going to be subdividing that anymore.
I understand that.
So, as staff mentioned, we should probably take these separately. If somebody wants to make a motion, if you pass, you don't have to pass them all. I mean, you can pass them all, but we need to do them separately. So,
Make a motion to grant the variance for the setback from 25 feet to 1 point. It's already there.
Second that.
I'm gonna change this up a little bit and then say that motion's out of order, because until you set the right of way, you can't set the setback. And so I've got to hear the right of way one first. That's got to pass first before we determine the setback.
What about the easement?
You could do the easement, yeah, but the setback has to be after the right of way. Otherwise, the setbacks make no sense.
Okay.
That's okay. I should have pointed that out.
I'll make the motion that we authorize a variance for Ordinance 20, Article 6.12.4 to reduce the required right-of-way width from 120 to 73 feet. That's the easiest one I can live with. So the rest is up to somebody else.
I'll second.
Can I ask a question? Are we, it's really, we're just dedicating 7 on this side and we'll dedicate 7 on the other side when it comes in. So we're not reducing the right of way. We're only asking for 7 feet here, as opposed to 27 feet.
Yeah, 15 more.
15 more. Yeah, so, are you comfortable with the motion being that, reducing the setback requirements, or reducing the right-of-way requirements? So it'd be 80 foot wide, 7 feet from this side then.
That's the one I'm most comfortable with, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I just want to make a clarification that we're not reducing because we'll pick up the other 7 feet from the other side. It's a plat. Okay. All right, is there a second to that motion?
I had seconded it.
Okay, moved and seconded. Discussion. So, how about, the easiest probably way to say it is, we're only going to require that he dedicates 7 additional feet for right-of-way. That's probably the cleanest way to say it. That makes sense to the motion maker?
Talking to me.
Yeah. Does it make sense to the motion maker in the second?
Yes.
I understand your position.
Okay. Well, yeah, well, just because it's my position doesn't mean...
Clarification. Clarification.
So, often the opposite is
Observation.
true. So,
Your math.
yes. All right, everybody understand the motion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will also say aye. Do it, well, make your motion.
I'll make a motion to give the variance for ordinance 26, require private access easement from 40, no further subdivision, and no ADUs.
Okay. Motion to grant a private access easement conditioned on, reducing to 40 feet conditioned on, no further subdividing of the lots and no ADUs added. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we'll move now the setback from right of way. Is there anybody?
Hey, Scott, haven't heard from you yet.
Thanks, Mike. Motion to request a variance ordinance 21 to reduce the required setback from 25 feet to 1.6 feet.
What discussions on the motion? So sir, you understand is if you can't put anything on the front of that house, you only have 1.6 feet on the until you hit the public right of way. So you can't be doing anything in the public right of way. Okay. So if they're going to do an addition on the house, best to be on the back. Probably if you're gonna do anything to that house, it's probably better to just tear it down and build a new one. So
we have considered that and also picking the house up and moving it.
Yeah.
But the cost.
Yeah, understood. If you ever get to that point, what we do have is have some people come in and construct a house while living in another. That takes an ordinance, a waiver of our ordinance to get a building permit in that situation, but we have allowed that in the past. That you don't have to tear down the house before you build a new one. You can build the new one while you're living in the old one. So, any other discussions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Passes with one name. So we'll move on to the next one. Subpart F, variance request, ordinance 20. Thanks for coming in today, sir. I think we still might have you on later on the docket, though. So don't run off too far. Hawkins subdivision.
My name is Kurt Stockert. I am the landowner, and I am wanting to subdivide so I can build another house for myself. No intent of selling. I have some health conditions requiring help with being able to live out there, and I was raised in the country. I want to stay in the country. Been in Meade County 36 years. I wrote up a little history. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read that letter. Was that submitted?
Yes, it was submitted.
Thank you.
So the two variances for this one are the section line right away, not to dedicate the additional section line right away because it runs parallel with Avalanche Road that's on the west side of the property. And the other one is a private access road from 66-foot private to a 40-foot.
So he's going to dedicate the additional on Avalanche. There's not a variance for that, is there?
Not shown right
Well, then, because there's an Avalanche 120.
That was previous.
Excuse me?
I don't think everything was.
Yeah, because once you dedicate that, you're going to have to adjust your lot lines to get you to 3 acres. But
I guess I'm confused. Why would I have to dedicate more?
What they're asking for is the master transportation, 120-foot right away. Look directly to your north. It's an 80. Dust it by 7 feet to get to that 3 acre.
I thought we've been asking for 120 on Avalanche. That's what we've been asking for, right?
Yeah, there's nothing dedicated.
Right, we've been
Properties
picking.
to the north.
Yeah, we've been picking it up along the way, right?
The only ones are to the north, Loftus and Murphy. South, and first one that's picked up to the south is right on the county city Sturgis.
Yeah.
First one. The rest of it all just remains as.
Oh, so it's not dedicated at all? Oh, well. So, then, I don't,
So he purchased his property back in 2018. At that time, we came in here, we did a dedication. He had to purchase additional property because there was a gap between the section line that he owned and the right-of-way of Avalanche. So when we went through and did Tract 1R in 2018, he went through and purchased a piece of property from Chafee's. And then at that time, he turned around and dedicated that. So I guess his request is, since there's not additional, he owns the property. What he's trying to do is build a second residence for himself because he has medical concerns that he wants to have somebody living in the home that he's in, build a home so that they can take care of him as time goes on. It's not a situation where he's trying to subdivide property. He's going to remain in ownership of the entire So the request is to, I guess, not go to the 120 along Avalanche Road and reduce the size of the access to 40 feet, enter the property for the existing residents. All property which you
Isn't Fairview water out there?
Wish it were. It actually doesn't go any farther north than Eden, other than
Yeah.
the homes that are facing.
So, I don't understand the shared well. Where's that? Are you sharing a well now with somebody else?
He owns the entire property, and he has one well on the property, and he's going to plat off a lot so he can build a home on that and provide water from that shared well to his.
Child that's going to be
The friend who's currently helping. He has a house in town, but probably sell that or rent his house. Rent, I will give.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about the well when we get to the flat, but all right. So we don't have a request for a variance to dedicate the additional right of way. Sir, since you purchased this property, there's been a new master transportation plan which requires additional dedication. But otherwise he's requesting the 40-foot and then not to dedicate the section line that runs through his property. Those are the two variances that we're looking at. Yeah, it's a bit confusing because I couldn't figure out whether he meant on Avalanche, but so if anybody's got a question on that, so he's got that section line that comes up the property line. Generally, we'd make him dedicate the section line, but since it runs parallel to Avalanche, we on these situations sometimes we'll waive the dedication of that type of section line. He has not requested a variance on the dedication of Avalanche. All right, everybody understand the variance request? Is there anybody else here to speak to this plat today? Or this variance, excuse me? Seeing none. Questions for the proponents from the board? Or questions for the staff?
Got any opinion on this, Tanya? Your staff findings again. I don't have staff recommendations. I have staff findings. I like the word recommendations.
It's always so hard on my recommendations, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try a different avenue. I'm fine with the 613-1, the private access. Section line 1, I'm all right with, just because it's traditional. Avalanche Road is built to approximately 33 foot wide right now with ditches. It's one of our major roads that is currently active. The master transportation plan calls are 120. You need to come back for that variance at the next meeting. Support the two that are in front of you.
Yeah, we've had some conversations whether we need 120 all the way through, but the master plan does currently call for 120. I would expect we'd want a minimum of 100. Came in at least. I mean, it's that road. That's a main thoroughfare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning to widen the road, or?
Well, probably someday. Yeah. And I just soon have the dedication today than have to do multiple condemnations. That's one of the reasons we do them as we as they come up. You should expect, I think you should expect a lot of, that road will change over the years. This is something we've been asking consistently when people show up. So, discussions, questions.
I guess the question I would ask, sir, is that would it be too much of a hardship to try to meet us in the middle? Instead of 120, we get it to 100?
What's the dedication directly north?
Yeah.
Murphy.
Yeah.
I think it looks like it measures 80.
All right. So let's deal with the variances in front of us. So, anybody questions, motions, discussion? One at a time, please.
To allow the preliminary plat to proceed without dedication.
All right, so let's make clear on that. I think your motion should end of dedication of section line right away. The along avalanche load, I think, becomes confusing because he's not asked for us to waive the requirements to dedicate along avalanche. He's just asking us to not. That may force him to dedicate the section line, and I don't want some confusion as to whether we've waived the requirement to dedicate avalanche. So.
Right.
Well, no, I want to, the difficulty we have is 3 years later, somebody's reading the motions trying to figure out what we did. So Tanya and I have talked about this. Tanya's trying to be much more specific on the request. So we just have to try to follow along with that. So what your motion is a variance, allow the preliminary plat to proceed without dedication of the section line right of way, period.
There you go.
I'll
I'm glad I said it that way.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay. No, just section line right of way, because there's not this area. There's not a request to waive the avalanche, the additional dedication that are required pursuant to master transportation. All right. Does everybody understand the motion? Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that passed unanimously. Now there's a private access roads variance. Sir, you understand that based on the last couple of that we had in front of us here today, the same variance request, that one of the conditions is no further subdividing of the property. You don't have an issue with that. Okay. Anybody wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve variance to ordinance 20, article 6.13.1, a variance to allow the existing private access easement of 40 feet instead of the required 66-foot wide private access easement,
Any conditions?
with the condition that no further subdivision were to occur. Is to occur.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Discussions on the motion. So the one thing I point out, this is different from the other ones because you didn't mention
AUs, yeah.
So, all right. So everybody knows. All right. Discussions on the motion. Seeing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Be opposed. Still passes though. I'm opposed. Okay. We'll go to G, variance plat track D1 and track D2, Rolling Hills Development Subdivision. Go ahead and state your name and who you represent.
Thank you. My name is Cassidy Stolley, and I am here today on behalf of Mercedes Knapp, who is a landowner of 12084 Paradise Lane in Meade County. Ms. Knapp has submitted an application for a preliminary plat review to replat a portion of Track D into Track D1 and Track D2 of the Rolling Hills development, and has requested a couple of variances, which are before you now. This application involves two existing legal parcels in the Rolling Hills development. One parcel is an unplatted 5-acre lot, which is where Miss Knapp's family home is on, with some outbuildings as well as a well that has been there for multiple years. It's owned by her husband, Jason Knapp. Jason, Mercedes, and their son live there and call it home. The second parcel is a 10-acre lot that sits directly adjacent to the Knapp home. It has no outbuildings on it, but it does have a well, and a home could be built there tomorrow if somebody wanted to, as it was always intended with this tract of land. The proposal doesn't divide these tracts into 2 or more lots, or increase density, or create more safety issues. To be sure, there's currently 2 lots, and 2 lots will remain. We are simply asking to adjust the boundary line between these 2 existing parcels. A simple way to think about it is if 2 adjoining property owners came before you and requested to move their shared boundary line, one owner giving a portion of their property to another. The nature of that transaction would not be to create additional density or a new subdivision. It would just be an adjustment of the boundary. That's what is occurring here. We're not asking you to approve a new development with additional lots. We're asking you to recognize a reconfiguration between these 2 existing legal parcels. So, as a threshold matter, I think that you have to determine whether this request is actually a subdivision, because the number of parcels remains 2 before and after you approve this. There's no additional density created. And for that reason, we submit that the strict subdivision treatment is not required here. Ordinance 20 defines a subdivision as a division of any tract of land by plot or other instrument of conveyance into 2 or more lots, sites, or other divisions thereof. Here again, there is no division of a tract of land into 2 or more lots. The proposed plot doesn't separate 2 or more. We're not creating a new 5-acre lot out of the 10-acre. We're not making 3 5-acre lots. We're not dividing a single tract into additional lots. The triggering event under Ordinance 20 of dividing is absent here. So before reaching the requested variances, we believe that the preliminary issue is whether this application actually constitutes a subdivision under Ordinance 20.
Shannon, do you have anything?
Well, I'll just go over the variances real quick. So, they, once again, these are grouped in there. So we got 3. Got the community water source, which stimulates from the subdividing of the 10 acres to a 5. And then we have the dead-end road width, as well as the trigger for the secondary access. So, I guess if I had to comment on that, I guess I agree. I mean, really, the density is not changing on this. Right now, there are 2 buildable lots there, so it's not like we're creating more lots that I believe, I mean, would trigger the secondary access, or dead end road length. But so those are the actual 3 variances requested in Part G. So
What's the legal description currently?
we have a Tract D, 10-acre lot, and then the parcel with the home on it is an aliquot description.
So creating a new lot.
With an existing structure and home on it.
But it's still, you have to create a lot.
Right, but we're not, my point is we're not creating more people and traffic.
No, but I think that goes to the definition of subdivision.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
My point is we're not creating more people, so.
I would say,
Go ahead.
I understand what you're getting at, Mr. Wazorek, but when we look at ordinances, we have to read them by their plain and ordinary language. And division is the act of being divided. Divide or dividing is defined as to separate into 2 or more parts, areas, or groups. We're not dividing anything here. There is a current existing lot that's 5 acres and a current existing lot that's 10. We're simply shifting the boundary to make the 5-acre 10 and the 10-acre 5. There's no division. You're moving the boundary. And even if we assume that Ordinance 20 applies, the purpose of the ordinance isn't implicated here because the variance authority exists precisely for this unusual circumstance. Ordinance 20 specifically allows this commission to waive any and all subdivision regulations should you conclude that such a division would be excluded from the subdivision regulations in Ordinance 20. So you have broad authority and discretion here, particularly where strict application doesn't advance the purpose of the ordinance. And the purpose of the ordinance is to ensure that when new development or new density occurs, it's supported by adequate infrastructure and doesn't create public health or service burdens. So the core policy concern of this ordinance is not implicated here because we're not increasing the number of parcels, there's no additional lots, and there's no new density. So we are requesting, well, if you agree that this is a division, which I don't believe that it is a division, you still have the discretion to not require these ordinances. Even if you want to apply these ordinances, you should grant the variances. We have the burden here to show that there's no impact to adjacent landowners, but beyond what already exists, the public interest part of this. And that is met because there's no increase in density, there's no new development, and no change in access or infrastructure burden. Many of the neighbors have actually signed off on it. Hardship. Literal enforcement of this ordinance would create an unnecessary hardship here because you're requiring infrastructure redesign and regulatory compliance designed for increased density. We don't have increased density. The spirit of the ordinance, which is the third element, is met, and justice is served by granting the ordinance because it allows a reasonable adjustment between 2 lawful parcels.
Well, we can get the other variances later, but it's not your contention that the building code doesn't apply.
No, right now we're just talking about ordinances.
Yeah, but building code still applies. You're not saying that, in fact, if you say this isn't a subdivision, that the building code doesn't apply.
Correct.
And that the water obligations. The water ordinance applies.
The water ordinance would apply, but we can talk about how that, or I can talk about it now if you'd like me to.
Well, we can take them one at a time, but
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure. I disagree with you on the subdivision. You're essentially taking a platted lot, and then now you're creating two platted lots by adding in adequate land. And so that creates two lots in the way I read the ordinance. That's how I read the ordinance. If, under your argument, if somebody had two platted lots of 20 acres, we'd have no control if somebody wanted to replat those two lots, one to 1 acre and one into 19. And I think that would belie the purpose of the statute.
They would still have to come to you, just like we are, to replat a portion. That's required under a state statute and your ordinances. And you would have that ability to address that concern at that time. Each ordinance or each variance, each replat has to be brought before you so that you can address those concerns.
Fair enough. Well said. Anybody else here to speak to this plat today, or this variance, excuse me? Questions from the board for the proponents or for staff?
I guess my question for maybe staff is this an example of where perhaps a lot line adjustment process would be an effective tool as opposed to going through this process?
I don't think it is because it's an adequate described parcel. It is not a recorded subdivision.
Oh,
It has
well,
any
gotcha.
rules. My understanding is it's part of Rolling Hill subdivision. The legal is part of that subdivision for a road district. Tract D was platted as Rolling Hill. Platting this eloquent description into a subdivision, it creates a new boundary, it creates a new legal, and that's where I see it.
So when I did my research, I noticed there were some comments like back in the 80s, this Rolling Hill subdivision was originally designed for it to be 5-acre lots. And yet now I know with this 9-acre requirement for a private well, we know that there was one well on the 15 acres that's been there for a while. But can you tell me when this other well showed up, please?
Recently, within...
Recently. Mm-hmm. So how long has this 9-acre requirement for a private well been in the books?
Oh, probably quite some time.
Was it in the books before March 19th, 2007?
The well?
The ordinance.
Oh, the ordinance.
Was the ordinance enforced by March 19th, 2007? Because that's where I see the title deed being transferred to the petitioner. And I can definitely empathize with the petitioner. I sit on 17.88 acres at the end of a dirt road with a private well. And I got a gem just like they got. And I would love it if there was a way I could say, you know what, I'd love to go ahead and sell off a chunk of this land and make money, but I can't. And as much as I empathize with the situation, I can't sympathize with the fact that I knew when I bought my land at 17.8 acres and I needed to have at least 9 acres of land in order to have a private well, I could not cut my land in half. So, if this ordinance was in effect before March 19th, 2007, I would say that the boat has already sailed.
So the 9 acres was in effect in the mid-90s because I did work up a matter that required a variance in the mid-90s because of a highway separating off 8 acres to get a variance for them to plat that 8 as a separate parcel.
Okay, so why was there a reason to settle on the 9 acres? If they've got people saying back in the 80s we can do it at 5 acres, no problemo. 40 plus years later, why is there an ordinance like this in the books if we're not going to try to hold people to a certain standard or as close to it as possible?
Well, I don't know how long you've been doing this, Shannon. I mean, the 9 acres, as I understand it, was what they figured you could get 4 buildable lots out of a 40. And with the additional dedication or cutting, if you had to cut a corner, you had a couple extra acres to spare. And that was set, must have been at least in the early 90s, as if you're going to have a private well, you needed 9.
Oh. Yeah, I think that was in place before I started.
Yeah, well, yeah. I remember being here in about 95 and having to do a variance in front of the planning board in 95. Now that does make a statement about how long I've been out of law school. So, so don't let the non-gray hair fool you. I feel old. So, so it's been in place a long time.
Well, we've had people come up before here. We had a lady come up here, put in a private well, who was on a water system and wanted to switch to a private well. And we had to tell her no. Why did we tell her no? And then we had another lady here just 2 months ago or 1 month ago that was given 3 acres of land to adjoin to a piece of land she already owned that was also less than 9 acres. And she wanted to have it set up that she can build on this new gift she was given. We had to tell her no. Why did we have to tell her no?
Oh, you were there.
Like I said, I can empathize with the petitioner's situation, but I can't sympathize because if the rules and regulations were in place before he purchased the land, even though something may have been different back in the 1980s, we can only go by what is our current guidance and precedents being set, and we've already set several precedences where we're trying to hold people to this standard. Now, I hear you when you say we're not going to add more, but really, is he going to keep all 15 acres and then build a second house on that 10 acres and live in that house as well, or is this going to be sold to other people?
It's my understanding, so the current 5 acres will become the 10 acres, which is what their house sits on. And that they are, and there's letters of support in here from the potential buyers that do intend to put a home
I read it.
on that 5 acre lot. So I think that answers your question, correct, Mr. Pauling?
Yeah, Mike is fine. I don't go by salutations. But
well,
I can only say that, and I look at the history notes here, and it looks like this thing was brought up before a couple of times.
You and I have been on.
And back in 2022, there were certain issues of the same precedents being set. What has changed is, other than your interpretation as to what these ordinances are supposed to be here for, what other factors have changed that would cause the Planning Commission to reconsider past situations that have ruled against this request?
I don't believe that it was ever ruled against. I believe that there was a form of intent in 2022, and Ms. Vig can correct me if I'm wrong. And then it did come before this board in May of this year. What I will say to the well situation, which I think is later on in the agenda, but since you've brought it up, and under Ordinance 33, 7.7.9, it says a private well cannot be installed on a property that has less than 9 acres.
Yeah, so we had the one well that has been on there for many years, and then, as you already told me, that another well has been added just recently.
But it was installed on a piece of property that's 10 acres.
That now turns magically into 5 acres.
But the ordinance, with all due respect, says installed, not used, served by, exist, remain, supply, or located on. Nothing in Ordinance 33, 7.7.9 expressly states that lawful installation becomes non-compliant due to a subsequent subdivision or boundary adjustment.
So if somebody decides out of the blue, I'm going to dig a big hole in the ground and pressurize it and cap it and never going to use it for anything? Or was it going to be for agriculture uses? I mean, come on. I see a foundation being built. I'm assuming somebody's going to put a roof on it sooner or later.
Yeah, there's no dispute that they are going to build property or build a home on what we're asking the boundary line to be adjusted to a 5 acre lot.
But they are building they're putting in things so they can sell to the Burkharts.
Yes,
And you don't want to call it subdividing.
it's not subdividing under your, I mean, when you read an ordinance, you read it by the plain and ordinary meaning. Division is not defined under your ordinance, so then you look to the definition of division. But what I'm saying, even if we want to call this a subdivision, you have the ability under the same ordinance to waive those requirements because they don't meet the spirit of what we're doing here. And it is a boundary line adjustment, like Mr. Morgan is saying. It's simply a boundary line adjustment. These two plots were there. Actually, there was 3, and one was mushed together at some point. Now we're just asking to move the line over. There was always going to be 2 people living there. There was going to be 3 people living there. Today, they could sell the property today. They could sell that 10 acres today, and somebody could go get a building permit and start building on it today.
But don't they need the permission from the county in order to do that?
But they'd have to meet the building permit. Shannon, do you know when the Lot D was originally platted?
Ooh.
I mean, a long time ago, I think.
Which lot, or the 10-acre part?
The existing 10-acre.
I don't recall. It was 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, so, but part of the whole thing was they sold these pieces up there. Some people bought the smallest piece you could buy is 5. Some people bought 10. Some people bought 15. But this D was platted because now you got to get the plat done to get a building permit. So that D was platted years and years ago. That's not uncommon up here. There's multiple places that have platted the properties, but the county's been consistent in that they've, unless you only have bought 5 acres and you have a clean line of that 5 acres going back to the 80s, they've allowed that to be grandfathered in. This is not falling to, this is a plat of that Lot D. It's the 10. The D,
plat,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so it's, it's been there 30, I know you asked me to do math, which I should be able to do in my head, 39 years. That math works out. No, 29 years, excuse me.
It was platted before the first ordinance reading.
Yeah, so this is, we've been around a long time. And where we're at. But, okay, now, there's been a lot of discussion. I know I asked the audience before, does that change anybody's position on whether they want to speak to anything brought up today? Okay, other questions or comments? For the proponents or for staff?
The existing house is serviced by a well now?
Correct.
Okay. That's what you were getting at. How did a well happen to take place on the 5 acre?
No, that well has been there for many, many years.
Yeah. All on the 5 acres been there. It's the well that is 10 acre.
Yeah.
Really recent.
That house has been there longer. Lot D is.
We had those before.
So, yes, the history here is when they came to the county, they asked if they could build on Lot D, and they talked about a shared well, and I think the staff said they could sink their own well on a 10 acre, and then they sank the well on the 10 acre for the replat. So that's how I understand the history. Correct, ma'am? So, questions for the proponents? Or if not, is there a motion?
No, I'm going to say so.
Oh, ladies first.
stand by our decision before. I deny the request.
Motion to deny the requested variance. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second to deny the requested variance. Discussion on the motion.
We're
Well,
only on the
this is just,
water.
yeah, you have them
Water.
listed separate. You don't have them listed multiple in this one. We have a separate, this water is listed as a separate line of different items.
Article.
Article 5134, if it's a subdivision of land, private wells to serve the platted lot. Platted lots, it's not a private well.
Right, no, but that's a separate variance. That's actually listed even as a separate subject here. We haven't come,
33 is also separate.
right. Did we have
Okay.
multiple combined ones here on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Then also we have the dead-end road length, and then the second access.
We've been taking them separate.
Okay, so you need to clarify. I'm trying to look at the list of the variances that we have on this issue.
Back on the agenda.
I'm looking.
I'm making a motion to deny ordinance 20, Article 5.1.3.4 on the well, or
Well,
individual private well.
on less than 9 acres.
On less than 9 acres.
Okay, all right. So that's the variance request, or that's being moved here. Okay. Everybody clear on that?
May I ask a question?
Sure. That was a question, but you can ask another one.
So you're denying ordinance 25.1.34 because, I mean, that refers to a private
Article.
water system.
Article 5.1.3.4.
Which refers to a private water system serving all plotted lots in accordance with ordinance 33.
That's correct.
Because the well is already installed.
I know that.
So then, I guess I am not sure what, how it's not in compliance with ordinance 33.
If it was in compliance, we wouldn't be here.
It's the variance is to allow the plat.
I understand. I'm just,
So as I understand the request for the variance here, a private well to serve a plat lot less than 9 acres takes the variance. And you're trying to create a lot less than 9 acres.
well,
To be served by this one well.
Right. It doesn't impact the ability of that well to serve the existing lot D, if they want to build on the existing lot D.
can you point out what specific ordinance requires that a lot be more than 9 acres for a current existing lawful well to be used?
But you're asking to use that existing well for the purpose of a 5-acre lot pursuant to your plat.
Yes,
And that is the variance requested.
I understand that, but you're denying the variance because she said that it's going to be less than 9 acres. What specific ordinance requires that there be, other than 7.7.9 of ordinance 33, that a private well has to be installed on a property? The well is currently installed on a 9-acre lot and is lawfully installed there. We're simply asking to move the line.
Now,
You're
again,
asking
Which is a way to
decrease-
circumvent what we had discussed previously in meeting the requirements of the 9 acres.
okay, so, let's take the motion is the motion to not allow a lot less than 9 acres to be served by the private well. Correct? That's your motion right now? Okay, and we got a second, I believe, on that, correct? Okay. that's the motion. Okay. Discussion on the motion amongst the board. Seeing none, all in favor of denying variance on the private well, signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, now it passes. Okay, now there's two more variances here. Allow a primary dead-end road to exceed the maximum allowable length. Do you have any specific comments on that requirement? Beyond, is your contention that that doesn't apply because this is in the subdivision?
Correct, but then I would also say that we have met our burden to show that we have met the required elements, that public interest is met, there's a hardship, the spirit of the ordinance has and will be supported, and justice is served by granting the ordinance.
Okay, appreciate that. We have consistently denied variances for this in this area. Part of the reason is the fire danger, the one way in and out. The road is not up to specifications. There's no secondary access, which is part of considering the maximum allowable length, and that there's already more homes than allowed on a one way in and one way out. The ordinance. So that's just for background. Is there anybody wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny, to allow primary dead-end road to exceed the maximum allowable length.
So the motion, is there a second to the motion to deny the allowance of the primary dead-end road exceeding the maximum allowable length?
And that would be in reference to Article 6.10.1.
Okay. Seconded by C. Discussion on the motion.
The question regards to whether or not it says no feasible alternatives. How was that determined by the applicant? Were there engineers hired, or did our office look it over before it helps me decide whether or not this motion is a solid one? The comment made, the applicant states that no feasible alternative exists for constructing a secondary road access due to the location of the property and surrounding topography.
I think that comes into question in the next article, in the third one for the secondary access. This is on the road length.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
You're all right.
Okay. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the denial signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? That passes unanimously. The third, on the secondary road, do you have anything you want to say on the anybody want to say on the secondary road access?
Same arguments.
My only point is on both of these last two. That's kind of where I always have a hard time. We are not creating any more density. So I know you guys have an ordinance, and I know you guys are upset because there's a new well, and we're trying to make a lot under 9 acres. But these last two ordinances, they can go get a building permit tomorrow for another home. So we're not changing that at all. So I guess that's where I disagree with these last two, but nothing's going to change on that part. You can deny these variances, but somebody else is still going to go build back there. So I guess that's my point.
Thank you, Shannon. Was there a motion made? I believe so.
I motion we deny the variance request for Ordinance 20, Article 6.10.2, regards to constructing of a secondary access road.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion on the variance request. And then all those in favor of denying the variance request signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay. Go to, can we get a motion to come out of...
Did you, wait, Talbot, did you want to
go
go back up to that?
Yeah, is anybody here on the variance request? Thank you. Anybody here on the variance request on the Northdale subdivision? Okay. Yeah, we almost pushed you off to August, but we decided to wait till we got to the end here.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I had it wrong on my calendar, so I was in Rapid and I got Tanya's email and I came right away. So
Okay.
appreciate that.
Why don't you introduce yourself and then give us your pitch?
My name is Wesley Seabreth. I'm with Long Branch Civil Engineering. I represent Mike here in this request we have for the variances for both the rear yard setbacks on the new proposed lots. The building he is proposing here is a 72 by 200 foot commercial building that will have access off of that Merritt Road along it'd be the west side of the property there. Yeah, yep. Yeah.
That road's right down here. Comes in Saratoga, comes this way.
So is the
API
the
off
big
of
building that he's going to put in the back is going to come off Merritt Road, not off the residential road?
That's correct. Yep. Yeah, but the way that the access is, I guess, the shown off of Saratoga, that would be the front yard, and then the backyard is that west. So that's the request there for that lot. And then I guess I'm not sure which one's first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want you to discuss them both together.
Yeah. Sounds good. So then the second was the residential house that we're replotting there as part of this plot. And we're requesting that setback be reduced from 25 to 22.5 because of that deck that's existing there. Would be an addition. We'd need an additional 2.5 feet for that building footprint to fit on Mike's lot.
And that's off of the boundary line, correct?
That's
off
correct.
Of the lot line. Okay.
Yep, that's off the proposed lot line there.
So on that, this question for staff, couldn't we change that up to give them a variance to allow the encroachment, but if the deck is ever removed, they have to meet the setback at that point? Yeah.
These were hard to determine what you would consider a rear and a front. Lot 16R, you really could have two rears, sides and a front, or do you have just a way? That's why I asked them to come in for the variance on the side, and we'll just tell them two rears, long term.
Yeah.
Same with lot 12R.
For people.
This was one we saw last month?
Yeah, this was a
Form of
requirement
intent.
of part of the preliminary plat that they come in for the variances
Okay.
Right.
before we went to final platting.
Okay.
Yeah, because, it's kind of a semi-industrial area next to a residential. They're going to come in off the industrial area side. And just for the record and for the recording, these are items 4, B, and C for anybody who's following along.
Did have Wesley look up at the covenants as to Northdale, and I think there is no restriction having commercial. That was one of my keys: is that allowed or not?
Yeah.
And that commercial building, what's on the north side of that is the rest of that complex for this. So we're not going to be impeding the sightline for traffic
Correct.
by waiving that, right?
All traffic.
Do I make sense what I'm trying to do?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All traffic will come through that main.
Yeah.
But what's
subdivision.
north of that is not
All that Merrill.
Yeah.
Old
risk.
risk construction, yeah.
I'm looking at the map, but I'm just wanted to verify that for the record.
And we still
that's
are
correct.
waiting for Pennington County's final plat because it sits on the Pennington-Meade County line, so that 12R is still part of AR.
Boy.
So we're still waiting on that. So you will not see the final plat until the preliminary plat is approved.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
It makes it more
Yeah,
complicated.
it's been fun.
I've heard rumors to that. Okay.
Okay, so, questions, these are basically setback variances. Okay,
You want them
Just one quick question. I'm just in, now that we're looking at this, does that shed not need to meet setbacks? The existing shed?
Is it in the residential side? Is that a stick-built shed or just a shed sitting on skids or something?
I think it's on just skids, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, so if it's on skids, it's not permanent structure.
Oh, but it's on the
Yeah, I don't.
map here, so.
It's a good question as to figure out whether,
Been in violation to start with.
Yeah.
So there's probably no building permit on that one. They're under 200 square foot, we do not issue building permits.
No, I understand that.
So
I'm just.
that would be, if it's under that, I would not have known facts or not anyway.
But now that they introduced it to the.
We can add that to the motion that both of them, if it moves to a permanent foundation or is a larger shed that.
So it looks like it's going to be a pretty sized big roof and not much space in between. We worried about water runoff or drainage issues or anything in that 8-foot area, or swamping or bog or anything like that?
As far as on the, what would be the back side of the building?
Yes, sir. Because I lived in subdivisions in Colorado Springs where I had fish tanks in my window wells because the houses were so close together.
Sure.
Found a couple of goldfish too.
Yeah. I didn't include it on this just because it kind of clouds the image, but the topo on this shows that most of the drainage does go to the west. So that house, the existing house, I would assume that it would be higher than the proposed building that we're showing here. So I would imagine that, the drainage would work its way, around to the west of that building.
Is there an engineering concept that fits his description, or is it just a lucky guess? Because
No. So when they come in for the proposed building, it has to be fully engineered. Commercial buildings like this, we send them out for staff to handle. The subdivision to the west, I have never had any complaints on their drainage yet.
Okay.
It all flows to the north, back down into
Sturgis Road.
But we do have a concept of a plan as to how to make sure the moisture in the water goes away from the private dwellings and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that was submitted on last packet. There was a topo map submitted in last with the preliminary plat, so he's submitted the topography of that lot and how it would drain.
That kind of like here's Sturgis Road. That subdivision. It comes down.
Okay. So do we know if there's going to be like a road that goes in between on that 8-foot area, or is that just going to be an open space area?
It would just be open space. There wouldn't be any roads back there.
So you're not going to have any garage doors or anything on that side of the building or anything?
No, I think that Mike's intent is for everything to come off the west side there.
Additional questions? Is there anybody else here to speak to these variances today? Okay. Staff, you have anything else? All right, so let's take a look first at variance B. That's for lots 12R2, which will be, is the house lot, I believe?
12R2 is a commercial lot.
Is the commercial lot?
You had 50-50 chance.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show how good my luck is.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So, commercial lot is seeking a variance of, because of that weird kind of way the lot lays out from the rear setback. Oh, discussions. You need a variance for the front then too? Off of Black Hawk Commercial, off of the front. He's going to come out the west side.
Barrett Road is access easement that comes
Well, you got a building setback from a property line. So is he building 25 feet from that property line? That'd be the front. Off the back and off the front too.
But really, he doesn't have a rear setback. Let's.
Well, he wants.
Our ordinance doesn't address easement. API road that comes in, lot is an easement. Don't require. I looked at Saratoga being the front lot line. Saratoga was the front. Road that comes in off of Merritt Road is an access.
Okay, but don't we have a back? Oh, don't we have a 25-foot set off from the back?
That is
For the west side? That's his variance? I thought his variance was for.
No, I think, wait, I get what you're saying. We're requesting it to the rear yard setback, being that Saratoga would be the front yard. So the 25 feet exists, and it's kind of shown there on that curve, and that would be the front yard setback. And we're requesting the 17 foot from the rear yard setback. And I know that's confusing because access is taken off of the rear yard.
Where you're seeking no setback between the proposed building and
The residential.
the residential.
So there'd be an 8-foot setback, side yard setback there.
And that is a side set.
Correct.
Clear as mud.
Yeah. That's a weird lot, it's a weird access.
It is very hard to come up with your.
All right, so
the setback is because of the 4-foot wide ice. Well, part of it is for part of that 4-foot wide ice. So technically, the building 12 feet off, correct? Other than that little cover.
Other than the shelter, the front door shelter, basically, yeah. That's correct. Yep.
yeah. All right, so now that you've done the clarification, make the motion since you understand it.
Why do you always look at me?
Well, you know.
All right, well, I gotta go find it. I gotta find it. I will make a motion to approve the variance request from ordinance 26.82 to allow for a reduced rear yard setback from 25 to 8. Add that 4 foot of that cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted to say to the door canopy and then 12 feet from the remainder of the building.
There we go. Like that.
Well,
That's why he gets paid the big
Right.
bucks and I don't.
the only thing is, if we do that, though, I just want to make sure if he has overhang, our setbacks go to the edge of the overhang, not to the foundation.
Right, yeah.
So if he had overhangs, he'd be encroaching.
Yep. Agreed.
Why we were asking. I haven't seen the building design.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I think just staying clear on the 8-foot setback, because if he's got 2 feet of overhang, then he doesn't have to come in for it. Yeah. All right. There's a second.
Second.
Discussions on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that passes. Let's go to the next subpart C, which is the house. They're seeking a variance on the setback to allow the deck to remain lot lines. as noted, I think it's better to not say that we are changing the setbacks, but we're allowing the encroachment into the setbacks of the existing deck. But if they rebuild the deck, they have to.
Right.
Setbacks. Go ahead, Christian.
Right. No, I'm trying to find the exact spot here in the document. Give me a sec. Make a motion to. 5 feet are out for with the understanding.
I'll second.
Okay, pick one.
Whoever you want, I think everybody seconded it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 So, Board of Variances. The motion next to the
second
Board of
that.
Variance, been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, I'm going to give a 5-minute break. Then too. Yeah, here.
Still don't see it, but maybe I'm just.
Oh, you know what? There was.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
Sorry about that.
No, thank you.
I'm
I
like,
had it on my calendar and I looked at it. I better go.
It is, yeah. Soon as soon as fourth hits.
Okay. Yeah.
we're gonna hit the planning board variances that have to go to the commission. A lot of these overlap with what we've already discussed, but have to go to the commission for various, because of the construction aspect of the setbacks. So we'll start with, 5A is the variance request, Northdale subdivision, to allow to be built within the setback. So, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I mean, nobody else from the audience wishes to speak to these variances. Seeing none, unless somebody has questions, I'd entertain motions.
Let me get my act together.
Well, this is the county, goes to the county commission, so you can just make a motion to recommend to the county commission to approve.
There we go. I recommend to the county to approve the setback rear yard request ordinance 34 to allow for a reduced rear yard.
There a second?
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, 5B, this is the variance request done on the house. Christian, you made that motion, so. Okay. Yeah, because this is on the house, right?
16R is the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we need that variance for 16R because there's no construction there.
No, it's to leave it there. The setback.
Okay. Yeah, I think to recommend to the county commission, I think would be the easiest way that they allow the encroachment of 2.5 feet into the existing deck. Okay. You have to make that motion.
Yep, I make a motion that we approve or recommend to the county commission approval of the variance request
Second.
for the encroachment.
Okay, discussion. And then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go to 5C variance request, Huckins subdivision. Now this is a variance on the width. Have I found this correctly?
Yes, this is a variance to allow existing width of the road to remain as is, building it to a 28-foot wide road.
Okay.
So it currently is 14 to 18 foot wide.
Yep.
This is the one.
That was on the width of the right of the access easement. This is on the width of the road.
But we did that one.
No, right.
Yes.
Right.
No, I explained that to you, but it wasn't right. I went in great detail on that, and it wasn't not the correct detail. It was more the width of the easement rather than the
width
road.
of the easement, not the width of the road, is what we did before.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's 44.
That's why it sounds familiar.
So on this one, and this is the width of the road. Allow the existing road to be sufficient width.
I'm sorry.
That we got into that discussion. We talked about it a little bit. If you allowed more development in that area, you'd probably want the road to be wider and the easement to be wider. So, but we haven't.
Okay.
Why don't you make motions?
But we should be all good. So, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve as presented here.
Ordinance 10, Article 3.3.2.1.
I don't think so.
No.
No. It's just on surface.
Yeah, this is
Road
just for
surface.
road.
They're on the variance, right?
Yeah.
They're on the variance motion.
Okay. That has been moved and seconded to allow the existing driving surface to remain as is, not make it build any bigger. Questions are on the motion. Any action? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody nay?
And Anine has something.
Accidentally put us on Facebook? What?
Pasted.
Yep. Pasted, oh.
Copy and pasted something wrong.
You're good.
Okay, that's all we have to do on that one. Okay. This Eden Garden ones, it appears there's yeah, so first, I think it's,
First up is the road width.
yeah, it's gonna be 80 feet, but that we're,
Oh, where am I? Oh, the right-of-way width.
yeah,
Yeah, correct. The right-of-way width from 120 to 80, and then also the next one is the driveway width to remain the same.
okay. One at a time, please.
Recommend to the commission approval of variance 10, Article
Yeah. Second.
Second.
A second, okay. Moved and seconded, essentially it'll make them only dedicate 7 additional feet. All those in discussion, questions? Nancy, do you have a question?
No, I was agreeing with you on the 7 foot.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes, okay. We have a second one under this section. Private access road width. This is the actual road, not the easement. Request is to let the road remain as is.
The private access road. Yes. So I will make a motion to approve ordinance 10, 3.3.2.1 to allow the current access road to remain as is.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, let's go to E, variance request, ordinance 34, Eden Garden subdivision.
Setbacks.
Oh, this is a setback issue?
Setbacks from the reduced 25 to the 1.
Right.
Yes. One's the right of way, yep.
What was
The
right?
distance from the any structure to the edge of the right of way shall be 25 front to the rear property. Ordinance 34 has 2 of them.
Okay. All right. So that's basically a recommendation to the commission to allow the setback of the corner of the house to be 1.7 feet. 1.6. Why quibble? Okay.
I will make a motion to recommendation to the council to approve ordinance 34, article 2.1.6, 2.1.7 to allow for the reduced setback, front property line of 1.6 feet.
Second.
Okay.
You.
So, Stan has to go because it's fire out by Blicksburg, so they're
Oh, geez. Be safe.
out of Blicksburg. He's burning all the sand stuff.
Hey,
Good luck.
sorry, Sam, it's not funny, I know, but it is.
I know. Good luck.
Be safe, bud.
We have the motion on the floor, but we didn't vote on it.
Right. All right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So then it gets us to Hawkins? Or that was just E, so we're on F. Hawkins, right?
F.
I can tell because we have a different crowd. All right. Right-of-way dedication, private road width. Are you gonna have to build some more private access for this? That all exists already?
Right.
Because on these other situations, the houses were both there, so the road was already there.
One house exists, existing access driveway to that existing home, and then he's creating an easement through there to reach the existing, and he will be building on the new lot.
Off of that road?
Correct.
Okay.
Existing, yep.
Okay. I'd say, okay. Are you here to try to make a motion? There's two of them here. There's the right-of-way dedication of the section line. And then there's the
width.
The width, yeah. Yeah, we got to be a little careful here. I mean, we're not. So you've got right-of-way dedication, no additional right-of-way dedication along avalanches, but that's not what we're doing here, right? This is the section line issue. Okay. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the variance for Article 6.8.6 of the section line right-of-way dedication, the variance to reduce or to,
Yeah, so this would be 10-3-2-1-1 in this situation. So is your motion that recommend the commission that they not make him dedicate the section line?
10, 3, 3.
Yep.
It's the width, Christian, with the width within the
right.
You want them done separately, right?
Again, I want to make sure that the right-of-way has to do with the section line right-of-way. Additional right-of-way we might want Appalachian Road.
So without dedication of the section line right-of-way, period.
Okay, a motion's been made to recommend the commission that they not be required to dedicate the section line right-of-way. Second. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Second one's private access to allow the existing road surface to be
Recommend the county. Article 0.13.
I just referenced our ordinance.
I said it, but I said it at the end.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Sorry, you can type it the right way.
Yes.
Yes.
And the ordinance 20.
Yeah.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Go to G. Quick question on this. Is this a surface 3211? Is this that allow approval of preliminary plat.
This is the right-of-way, must be 120 foot wide.
No, this is, we're back in now
Oh.
to Rolling Hills.
Sorry.
This is where it's approximately 18 to 20.
Okay, so, yeah, so, is anybody here to speak to this today? So they left, so I think the appropriate motion would be to recommend the commission that they deny the variance to allow a road less than 28 feet. Because that's this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you said.
Okay.
I'll second what you said.
All right, Nancy made the motion to deny the variance on road width, or recommend denial of the variance on road width. Seconded by the talker over there. Yeah, well, I expect as much. Discussion on the motion. And then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we'll go to the variance request.
Private well one.
This request to allow installation of private wells on less than 9 acres.
Well, I'll take this. Recommend to the commission.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to recommend denial of the requested variance to allow private well on less than 9 acres. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move out of variances now.
Can we pause for a second? I mean,
Okay, sorry. Christian.
Second. Yeah, denial. Recommend denial. All right, let's go to new business. Preliminary plat track 4AR of TC subdivision utility lot 2R of Bear Butte. I will be recused on this one. So I'll let C run the meeting. Usually it'd be Sam.
I have no idea what to do. Okay, I don't.
Like, that's your seat.
Oh, I know. Shannon's going to help me, right, Shannon? This is Claire.
Browett.
Thank you. Bear Butte Valley Water and Diane Halleck. And we're track 4 revised of TC subdivision and utility lot number 2 of Bear Butte well addition. Yada, yada, yada. Go ahead, Shannon.
Okay. I'm going to borrow the pointer from Mike.
Help me.
So, this is platted very similarly to what it is now. The only changes. Oh. Tell me what more. What? Oh. The only changes is on the little flagpole on utility lot number 2 revised. We're adding 25 more feet to that lot of Diane Halleck's property, taking it out of track 4, going into utility lot number 2 revised. So, reasoning is just to cover an access road that goes to that lot and services that lot. So, pretty simple deal. Nothing else, like I said, nothing else has changed other than that.
So, if we go back and look at the topographical map. There. So basically that yellow line above the green line is being used as a road, and so we're...
Yep. And you can kind of see that trail in there.
That's what
right through there, yeah. We just wanted, they were doing do some fencing in there and just a little more additional room for a good access through there to that lot. So those lots, I don't know, does that scroll up further? Of course, all those lots, you see the existing road off 79 going into the main well. That's all covered with an easement on the plat that created those 3 lots from Dale Lamphere. So access is there. Everything's in place. So.
Questions by the board?
So I notice here under subsection 4, I do have recommendation. Thank you for putting that word back in your vocabulary, staff. So it says here, finds that the proposed subdivision generally meets the intent and requirements of the subdivision regulations for a medium-density subdivision standard. Please tell me, generally meets the intent and requirements, how does it not meet, and is this something we need to worry about in the future should there be any more subdividing?
Yes, it meets the subdivision requirements, and I don't see any issues. Future, the access is there, through a private, off of Dale Ampere. All the house, the septic, all not.
Anybody in the audience to speak to this preliminary plat? Got a question?
I do. So does the, maybe it doesn't matter, but does the reduction of tract 4 under 9 acres as a result of this, it doesn't matter?
No, Bear Butte Valley Water District served.
I just noticed that there is a well on the property, but it's not a domestic well apparently. Okay.
Anyone else to speak to this preliminary plat? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I request approval of the preliminary plat track 4 revise -1 of TC subdivision and utility lot number 2 to be recommended for approval.
I'll second that.
Well, yeah, you move for approval of the preliminary plat. That's,
I just want to know if you were still awake.
with all the action, how could I go fall asleep?
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. I turn it back over to our fearless leader, Talbot.
All right, we go to 6B, preliminary plats, lots 1 and 2. Huckins.
I just wanted to know when we could start moving on it.
Be Tuesday, yeah. Yeah, it's probably going consent calendar, won't it?
Going consent, yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody's taking it off, we'll let you know. But I can't believe anybody's going to take it off. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Thank you.
All right, preliminary plats, lots 1 and 2. Huckins.
Okay, went over a lot of this during the variance phase. Yes, we did mark the drainage locations. I think everything's in compliance, fits within its boundaries. So I really have nothing further on this one. Open for questions.
Second.
Gee, do we want to go home?
Motion approved and second to approve the preliminary plat. Got the variances. Discussion. And then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Preliminary plats, lots 8A and 8B of Eden Gardens.
Also?
Yes, both homes are currently hooked up to Bear Butte. Well, everything's installed and is being used. So, yep.
After the variances is going to, they include the restrictions on the plat, or are we doing like a variance filing?
Do a variance filing afterwards.
Either or, just as long as it appears in record. Okay.
Motion to approve the
Okay, motion to approve the preliminary plat.
I'll second.
Seconded to. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay. Approved unanimously. Preliminary plat, lots 1 and 2 of Schmidt Estates. Something new.
Okay, so this one you have seen previously. We had a preliminary plat approved on a 4-lot layout. So the owners now have gone back to, and the other 2 lots were on the 20 acres just to the left side. Yep. We had 2 going in the other direction. So they removed those. We kept the same dedication. We have the approach, the same approach location approved, pre-approved on lot 2. As well as they are going to install the approach on lot 1 before the final plat. And so the final plat will reflect the location of that approach on lot 1. And then other than that, so prelim approval, after prelim approval, the owners are working as we speak and getting the water and the power services to these lots. So of course they won't come back to you until they are or bonded for it.
So they cut 2 of the lots off Shannon. They're not planning to do them anymore?
They just don't have much interest in the property, so they decided they're going to keep that part. That part is closer to their existing home and what their operation they got going there.
And they know that, there's 1-year restriction for them.
For the 12-month.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yep.
I'll bring forth the master plan. No. That was the Highway 34 one. It's kind of a similar layout.
Yeah.
But,
the other 2 lots to the west, they did have quite a bit more drainage
there was
on them.
drainage, yeah.
Yeah, on there. There are buildable spaces in there, but
Okay. Questions?
Are these served by which water? How do they get water?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mentioned that water being installed, but water is coming from Butte Meade water. They've already got approved tabs, like I said, and the lines are scheduled to be in place. So meter pits, the whole 9 yards. So.
And we have all that documentation.
I make a motion, we approve of the revised preliminary plat for Schmidt Estates and the proposed subdivision with the recommendations planning staff has placed in the agreement. A written agreement from further subdivision for 12 months. All previously approved variances and applicable conditions associated with preliminary plat for Schmidt's Estate shall remain in effect until modified by subsequent action of the Planning Board and Board of Commissioners.
For a second? Moved and seconded. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay. Well, preliminary plat.
Thank you.
Track A and B and well lot of Hawkins subdivision. What's the well produce? Do you have a license for 30 gallons a minute? State law requires it to be licensed if you're using
Bring to the well.
Okay, it produces that, okay.
Plus it's an artesian.
Okay. Bill, staff, plat, any issues?
Yes, that's all attached.
So one issue I see is, I think, I mean, I think we're gonna need some additional right-of-way dedicated for avalanche, which is gonna change.
Yeah, that's correct. So we talked between the time you guys had the variance discussion and this time here. Speaking with Kurt, the dedication. So if you look at the dedication directly north of that in Eden subdivision, it's at 66 feet. If you go further to the north to the intersection of Eden and whatever goes east-west, or Avalanche and Eden, there's been additional dedication there to get it to 80 feet. Which is 66 foot plus the additional 7 on his side. You guys also just approved a plat, which was, I believe, item C in Eden subdivision, which was also 80-foot dedication. And speaking with Mr. Stocker, he agreed that an additional 7 feet to get to that 80 feet, which would be consistent with what was approved today, and also what is kind of consistent with what's there. If we brought it back as a final contingent upon those being changed and meeting all the other requirements of a 3-acre minimum, so we, I guess, would be asking for approval today of the preliminary plat contingent upon meeting those requirements of a minimum 3 acres, additional dedication to get it to 80 feet, which would be consistent with the other stuff that's out there. I guess that's the initial discussion point, right?
So, this is staff. Tanya, what have we been asking for on avalanche?
So I pulled up Avalanche on Beacon. Brad went downstairs and pulled the plat from section Avalanche to Mr. Stockert. Dedicated 66 foot with the section line vacated. Section line was vacated. Next dedicated, this is all, I'd have to research all this to the deed. There's nothing there. First plot that shows up dedicated is down here. For dedicated right away, and that's at the city Meade County line, and that
This one, this is north, so this is the intersection here. That's what.
But I'm going to say that's probably 66 foot.
I mean,
so that's all that's been dedicated along Avalanche.
yeah, well, I thought we made some people up north, even for the north dedicate more, because I thought that,
right there, stop. So that intersection right there at Eden and Avalanche, go forward just up a little bit. Up to the north. So that parcel right there is part of Eden subdivision. It's lot 1A. And that one had an additional 7 feet to get it to the 80 foot. That plat's right here. Everything else north of there doesn't 20 by any means. And the Eden Road that you just did is Lot C, that's actually at the intersection there, you just turn left within a quarter mile.
The one up on Adams Way, Talbot, is the one that has the dedicated 27 foot right away. One from Mr. McGrath did. That one had the
Alpha Avalanche.
Alpha Avalanche. Yeah. As the last couple of years, as I've been moving forward with the plats, we've been requiring the road dedications. Prior to that, I don't, are they aren't, I don't know. Depends what was recorded. After the 2022 Master Transportation Plan. That's on the arterials and the collectors.
Further north with that guy, the ranch guy who wanted to plat the two plats that we gave a variance to for the ingress. I think we made him dedicate. Last month he was back requesting another variance. Yeah, in the middle of the pasture where the hayfield.
Water in between.
I think on his original we made him dedicate.
He had the two pots and there was drainage.
Oh, Kinsler's off of Highway 34?
No. His kids, always the kids. Children. Yeah. Yeah, we made him dedicate additional road along Avalanche. I thought he was along Avalanche. So, yeah, I mean, either we need to make him dedicate consistently. But
Right.
I mean, we can't go back and force people to rededicate now the law's changed and we've got a new transportation plan. And that's just the way the world is. Double Diamond Estates. I think we made him on his plat dedicate. His original plat. He was back for a variance on the building requirements. But I think on his original plat we made him dedicate a bunch of right-of-ways. So, all right, well, questions, discussion, thoughts?
So when did it go from 8 up to 120? When did we?
I think we finished that transportation plan in 21.
May of 20.
Yeah. So.
And is that this?
Yep.
Yeah.
This road got classified as an arterial road.
Yeah, because it's a big north-south connector.
Yeah.
Because it's like 79, and then this, and then kind of on the back ridge. But and it kind of quite a bit of development around the city around this. But
Can I touch it?
Yes, you may.
So, if we
only if you're gentle.
Screen here. So, if you look at the screen here, the blue property here is the property we're discussing right now. Kurt Stockard's. This property right here, property that you just approved an 80-foot right-of-way on today. So a 7-foot additional there today to make it 80. And now we're talking this blue one here.
But that one up there.
that was 100.
Same classification.
That was 100 classification. That was 120 up there too. Well, so we don't have a pending variance, so I mean.
So that's why I guess we were asking approval of the preliminary plat, pending the additional dedication of the 7 foot.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have a pending variance. So I don't think the board can make a determination of whether they're going to grant that variance. As part of this, it's not been advertised as a variance. I think you could probably make a motion to approve the preliminary plat conditioned on you obtaining a variance on dedication of additional square footage for Avalanche Road, so you'd have to submit a new variance or another variance, and you have to come in and make your pitch then. I mean, because you could, I mean, if they could give you a variance for the whole thing potentially. That'd give us more time to take a look, see what we've been making other people do, but I don't think we've been going down the 80 feet on the Avalanche. Had the chance, so. This thing, because if I just asked somebody last month to dedicate 30, you know, hard for me to say, well, you only need to dedicate 7. At least that's I look at the world.
Approval with that variance in the future?
I believe the landowner, what he's trying to do is he's trying to build a house. And so he owns this lot, he has medical issues, he wants to get a house built. So if we can get approval of the preliminary plat today, then it can, contingent upon additional dedication and a variance being drafted to request that, then it allows him to move forward. So we can get those things on the agenda for the next planning commission meeting. We can get the final plat put together, submitted, that shows those additional things, but it doesn't hold him up another 30 days or whatever. So if you guys would be willing to approve it contingent upon those two things, then I think he moves forward. We make the adjustments and the corrections, and we kind of move forward.
Yeah, as long as everyone is granting a build.
You can't do
We're
that.
not asking. We're not asking for a building permit on that.
Okay.
We're asking
well, you said to move
just
forward with this project. That's
well,
why I
Well,
meant to
he's
move
probably going to
So
get
it
a
doesn't go
contractor
another-
out there and know what's going on.
What
I
I'm saying is
as long
that
as it doesn't start.
he can move forward another 30 days with the idea that we're submitting a final plat versus coming back with a preliminary plat again.
preliminary plat still has to be approved. Still have to come back for the preliminary. Still have to come back with the preliminary.
So it can't
or-
go forward as a recommendation from this body.
Well, so if you want to move it, you can. I think what we could make is, I think a motion could say, approve the preliminary plat, condition on him dedicating an additional. What is that number to get to 120? 33, 60. So an additional 27 feet, or obtaining a variance to dedicate less.
Write that down.
So I mean, you can bring it back and say, you know, because maybe you say, you know, maybe you look at it and go, oh, you know, what do I care? I'll dedicate some more because it's across the section line anyway. You can't build over there because the section line's not been vacated. Right? The section line's not vacated.
Section line to the north has been vacated.
Yeah, but not on this property. It's not vacated. Yeah. So you can't build within, you know, from the actual line. You got the 33 feet, and then you got another 25 feet, which is unbuildable under statute. You know, because you need a setback of 25 feet from that section line anyway. So maybe you decide you don't even want to screw with it. Oh, but I'll give you time to talk to your client about it. But I mean, it's his call. But it might make really no difference to him whether he just dedicates it and doesn't pay for the additional variance. So, but yeah, give you a chance to talk and we can keep it moving. Does that make sense? Make sense to staff? All right. Okay.
That's why I asked her. She wrote it down.
Yeah, so the motion is to approve the preliminary plat, contingent on him dedicating to the 120 or obtaining a variance allowing some other dedication or no dedication prior to the final. Does that make sense? 27 is fine, if that works. Does that make sense to you as a way to proceed?
Just so I'm clear, he can move forward at his risk with, you know.
Yeah, I mean, his worst case scenario, he just dedicates the additional.
Right. Then he's
Like he can come in and ask for the variance, but he's got to get the variance in place.
Right.
Because maybe the variance lets him go down to 100, so it's an additional 17 as opposed to 27.
Yeah.
We don't have a pending variance, so we can't. You have to have a variance because it has to be noticed that way. And a variance of that requires actually the 2/3 as opposed to a simple majority too. The 2/3 or 2/3, I think, yeah, 66%. So, but you can move this along. You guys can then just make a determination. It gives you a chance to look at it, and he can give you kind of a line showing where it would move everything and how it would change up your lines. So that makes sense. All right. So that motion's been made and seconded, correct?
I'll second.
Okay. It's been made and seconded, correct? Okay. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Give you some time to figure it out before we get to it. It's got to get in front of the commission. Would have to come back here for final. The NAPS request is here. They are not here. I think to clean this record up, we'd need a motion to deny and go from there.
I make a motion to deny the request.
Motion to deny the preliminary plat. NAP. It's been seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Pass unanimously. All right, planning items. Staff have anything that we should be aware of? Rally next time. Yeah, so there won't be a lead time, so you won't be able to push it up. They'll have to wait till September, anything we get out in August. Yeah, so the rally won't be officially started, but there should be plenty of people around.
Yes, we do meet on the 3rd.
Okay, does anybody from the board have anything they've seen going on that they'd like to bring to anybody's attention?
We're supposed to be nice. Heather was
Was she?
Yeah.
We should have pointed that out.
She's in the hall still. So
we're gonna have to go
anywhere without me.
We're gonna have to go. We're gonna go have to ask her if she knows everything about you.
We should have been nice to you.
Should have been. Yeah. Well, after you've been telling her all those stories about how you boss everybody around.
I don't tell her that. She knows that.
All right. So, and then the only things I know about there is they're still finishing up Haynes, and expect that to be open fairly soon. Yeah. So it should be open by the rally.
I would just throw out there that I am going to those metropolitan planning organizational meetings regularly, so if anybody has transportation issues that you think would be appropriate for that group, it's Pennington, Meade County, City of Rapid City.
And you know about the Exit 46 meeting at Piedmont Valley Elementary Wednesday night at 5:30 by the Department of Transportation to discuss the new Elk Creek exit.
The DOT dirt work?
DOT dirt work.
It was an extensive dirt work. I mean, I don't understand what's going on there. You haven't seen the map, but I mean that entire...
Supposed to be the most expensive construction project done by the Department of Transportation for an interchange.
But why is it going so far east? I mean, with the excavation.
They want to be at right angles, and they need that. They needed to move it around.
I'm just looking at, you know, that entire hillside has now been scraped, plus the backside of that. So I mean, this is going to be one spectacular.
It's going to be a big, and it's got to go over. It's got to go over the railroad there. That's one of the reasons.
Oh.
But I actually think their bridge over the Missouri River came in, so it's no longer.
Thanks for bursting my bubble.
Well, yeah. Well,
I think
that other one's a bridge over the Missouri River. This one's
I think it's the second most expensive.
No. Mm-hmm.
I did see that, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to help the traffic flow there quite a bit in the safety. But it's going to be a big exit. A lot of dirt work, a lot of. You got to have sewer before you're going to get an Aldi's. So.
I don't want to know. Not Piedmont.
Yeah. ESCO requires a minimum of 200,000 people in the metro area. Yeah, so, and going back to Christian's comments on the MPO goes to basically Tilford Road in Meade County. The actual Rapid City is looking at, I don't know if they talked about you guys at the MPO on those traffic count.
They did talk about that, yep.
Pretty interesting.
Yep.
They're getting a database that is based on cell phone traffic. So you'll be able to click on it and see like how many people turned left, how many people turned right, how many people, because the cell phone traffic has that kind of detail. So they basically, and then they extrapolate it up slightly based on the fact that some people wouldn't have phones, but they figure out. So yeah, so you'll be able to look at all the traffic flows. We've been giving them this is the first year we've actually given the MPO our counts in the MPO. But if they get that traffic data, my understanding would be for the entire MPO, which would really help in planning, because we'll get really good traffic numbers.
You can really drill into a specific area.
Yep. Yeah, like I said,
unlike ever before.
Yeah, like left and right turns would just be amazing. How they're transiting. So, there you go. Brothers watching. So, all right. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? Yep. Okay. Anybody, any objections? I declare us adjourned. All right. Thanks, everybody. It was a long day, but made it through.